how high the inflation can get, what's going to happen, how much civil unrest. I mean, what we could see is I've been on record saying I think Bitcoin's going to 250,000 to 1 million.
Bitcoin is slowly consolidating back upwards, coming off the lows of around $49,000.
Long before Trump or any of these rumors or whatever else, it's solely predicated on we're likely to see the greatest asset bull market in the history of bull markets.
And although, as of today, we've seen 3 consecutive days of outflows from the US Bitcoin ETFs, we understand that accumulation of this finite asset is global. Australia's Bitcoin ETF keeps stacking. Also new, over 110 businesses are now building on Bitcoin in Africa. Do you think this number is growing or shrinking in the next few years? And any dip is just part of the natural ebb and flow of a free market with an asset that's only headed in one direction.
Why? Because central banks have progressively price fixed everything. Whenever something breaks, they don't let the business cycle complete. They don't let anything fail. They don't allow for pain.
So with the next Federal Reserve meeting coming in September, and the Fed now equipped with ammo to lower interest rates to stimulate this economy.
A lot of us criticize the Fed, and rightfully so, for many things, but one thing that they did get right is they've kind of reloaded their ammunition. And so now we've got rates over 5%. They've sold off $2 trillion or so off their balance sheet. If we get to some sort of market slowdown or downturn, the Fed seems to be more trigger happy. They're a little bit more sensitive. You saw this with the 2 emergency rate cuts in 2020. And I do think that they have that ammunition now to fight that market downturn.
But what's it mean for Bitcoin?
And with quantitative easing, again, not a question of if, but when.
Is this the cycle where central banks try and price fix the bond market? If it is, the quantity of money printing is astronomical. You're going to get 2, 3, 4, 5 COVIDs worth of printing.
Now let's talk about altcoins like Kaspa, like Solana, the latest in crypto gaming, and more. But first, just to cover all bases, so you have all the information as a crypto investor, until quantitative easing starts, until the Fed rate cuts kick in, what are some actual events that could break us out from this sideways consolidation summer?
I think there's 3 main things that will break us out. First is time. People are away for the summer. We kind of go sideways historically over the summer. When people come back, they sit in front of their computers and they start buying assets. And so I think that Bitcoin will be a, beneficiary of that action. The second thing, obviously, is a Fed cut. As cheap capital comes into the market, you should see some of that capital flowing into risk assets like Bitcoin for people on Wall Street, and you'll see price kind of break out. And then the third thing is I do think that if former President Trump is reelected, there's a lot of folks who are kind of looking at him as the pro-Bitcoin or pro-crypto candidate, and I would expect Bitcoin to rally on his reelection as well.
And by the way, the amount of corporate money flowing into this political season from pro-crypto companies, as covered the other day, is almost 50% for more than just the presidential race, and they're winning.
So far, where the crypto cash is going in the primary races, wins have followed. We're talking a more than 85% win ratio so far when pro-crypto super PAC money is involved.
And for the latest news for Kamala Harris, is she warming up? Or what is her stance on crypto?
Last week at the Democratic National Convention, we heard from a senior campaign aide. And when he was specifically asked about her stance on crypto, he said that the VP would embrace policies that support emerging technologies. Meanwhile, Coinbase's chief policy officer saying that they've been meeting with the Harris team behind closed doors, and they're very pleased about those talks.
And of course, Kamala is in office now, so some action, maybe firing Gary Gensler now, would truly show where she stands.
If you're a sitting vice president, then you can do action, right? And I think that's really what people are looking for. And so if people believe that the current administration has been abrasive towards the industry, I think the most powerful thing that Vice President Harris could do is to start to take actions to support the industry, show rather than tell. And I think the same would be true if it was a Republican in office.
And many of you are asking me, what's next for Solana? The mainstream media refuses to cover this. I will. Throw this video a like if you appreciate.
The Finternet is a new approach to global finance.
Today at the Global FinTech Fest, 2 juggernauts of tech presented a demo of the Finternet, a user-centric global financial infrastructure tokenizing any asset on a unified ledger,
which is defined with 3 U's. It is user-centric. It puts the user at the heart of what we want to solve because users want more control over their lives, over their assets, over their destiny. It has to be unified, which means that it should cut across all asset classes. It could be shares, it could be bonds, it could be deposits, it could be paintings, it could be horses, doesn't matter. All kinds of asset classes should all come together. And you need an universal infrastructure on which all of this works.
all on Solana.
And so in this case, I'm transferring 2,000 rupees. I authenticate in real time, 2,000 rupees has been transferred. And this playground is completely open sourced. You can see in this case, we integrated with one ledger, which was Solana.
Also, if you like Avalanche, you'll love this. We have the latest stats for crypto game Off the Grid, which is on PlayStation now, which is wild.
The fact that I'm now playing Off the Grid playtest on my PS5 is insane to me, given where we were 3 years ago.
It's clear that people want to play Off the Grid, the first blockchain game on PS5. I am an early investor into this, and the closed playtest just saw around 400,000 transactions from over 30,000 players this past weekend alone.
The fact that in 3 years, it's just we've leaped miles past what we used to see.
Now, the Web3 aspect of this game isn't live yet. It's just, you can play it on PlayStation 5 now. I encourage the audience, check it out, start learning how to win. Also, many of you were asking me for an update on Kaspa, which is the 27th largest cryptocurrency by market cap. Marathon Digital CFO Salam Khan says Kaspa is a bet in latest interview. Marathon Digital is a heavily respected Bitcoin mining company in the US.
We've got some very smart people in the company. And one of the things that we have been able to incubate within the company is out-of-the-box ideas. And one of that ideas was Kaspa. And Kaspa is a bet. We continue to remain committed to Bitcoin mining. A majority of our revenues are tied to Bitcoin mining, but then we also have invested in Kaspa miners and freed up about 1% of our energy source to mine this Kaspa product, which is very high margin, between 85 to 90% margin in the current pricing environment. Obviously, it will fluctuate with the period of time as the global hash rate increases and as this coin becomes more mainstream. But it provides us that opportunity and think out of the box where we can use the same electrons, create more value for our stockholders, and then we can monetize that, either keep it on our balance sheet or monetize that and buy more Bitcoin and continue our story.
Now, anybody interested in earning Kaspa, exchange partner Margex is doing a CAS airdrop up to $5,000. Now, in my journey, just to learn how, I have been practicing small amounts on Margex. The reason I started using Margex is because there is no KYC. And obviously, if you want a more established exchange, you'd go for the Bybits, you'd go for the Binances. But on the other hand, some people don't want to give up that information. They don't want a KYC. Just be sure to use protection and never keep your crypto on an exchange. Trade it and then get off it. But anyway, there is a Kaspa airdrop for any Kaspa traders out there. Link down below, check it out. And be sure to click subscribe for daily videos keeping you informed about crypto. See you tomorrow.